the reason we're having this conversation is because I was on LinkedIn and I saw you making a post in relation to your Biz Grow business, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, Jamie was a voice actor for a long time, and I know you'd still do some voiceover work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I saw, okay, so now you're into content marketing and automations and using AI to enhance your business. And I thought, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if your business started because you were exploring some of that stuff to enhance your voiceover business, and then it kind of turned into its own thing. So talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so I mean, I worked in radio for over 20 years. I started Jamie Buck voiceovers back in 2006. I was just looking that up, and I got jbvo.com. You can't get a four-letter domain anymore,
Right.
and yeah, it's actually probably worth something. I should go sell that for a couple $1,000. But yeah, it all basically happened in radio. I was doing the side hustle before a side hustle was even a thing, and they let me use their ISDN to do sessions with Vegas and LA. I remember those days. And then a new GM came in and said, "Hey, you got to stop this. You either go do your voiceover thing or you're going to work, as the creative services director here, but you're not going to do both." So boom, everything just kind of crashed at that point. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to do this because, once voiceover gets in your blood, as you know, Tom, it's very difficult to get away from that. And
Mm.
so I did it at home and actually recorded in my car and did whatever I could just to kind of keep up those clients and keep that kind of going. But I realized as the production director and creative services director here at 98 Rock in Baltimore, which by the way, Paul Schmidt used to work at. I just saw him on your show, which is very
Yes, the
cool. We
VO
go way
Pro.
back. Yeah. So at that point, I was like, look, these people are not really getting the most bang for their buck, right? So the sales reps come in, they write this copy. They're not very good copywriters, by the way. I wanted to make these commercials like really impactful for that client because they're spending a lot of money on radio advertising. So I started getting into digital marketing about 2006. And I said, what if I set up a landing page for you and you can start gathering emails and phone numbers? And that's basically how the whole thing started. I found my love for marketing. And I would say that as a voice actor, especially if you're starting out, you need to spend 75 to 80% of your time in sales and marketing. You got to love S&M because that's where all the business is coming from, right? You can't sit behind your computer and expect people to, show up at your, maybe you have a website you've set up. Yeah, I want to hire you for a voiceover. I mean, it doesn't really work that way. You really need to market yourself and you need to have the system set up. And I believe you should be living in your CRM, not in your email. And so you've got a calendar with bookings, and that's how you're going to grow your business.
Excellent. No, that all makes sense, and it's interesting how organic it went from pursuing voiceover to the business that you have today. So I have a couple of questions that this is videos being watched by freelancers in general and voice actors in particular. So the first thing I want to ask you is, well, I'll start by saying this. As the VO strategist, the voiceover strategist, I teach my students how to build systems of thought, how to think about what they're supposed to think about in the voiceover industry, and systems of execution, how to turn that thought into action, practical, active things so they can run their voiceover businesses more effectively. And one of those big things is about having a good marketing presence. So talk to us for a second about the importance of creating quality marketing content.
Yeah, I think this goes back many years. When I mentioned that I started looking at SEO and how that affects, I don't think many voiceover people were actually doing that. Like, so if someone searched for a particular term, would you come up? So I did a test. Squarespace site, doesn't matter. WordPress is usually the best, but whatever you have, you need to start putting those keywords on that page. This is organic marketing, right? So this is one of the things that you can do. It's the long-term play. You can run ads. I don't think many voiceover actors are doing that. It's very expensive,
Mm.
to do that. You really need to, spend $1,500 a month, $50 a day kind of thing. That's what we do for our local businesses. With this is one thing that you can kind of build up. So I did, back in the day, I did video sales letter voiceovers, video sales letter voice actor. And within a couple of weeks, I was number one. And people were just coming in, "Hey, we found you on the web." I'm like, "How?" So it's a very simple thing to do, but it's obviously the algorithm continues to change. It's difficult. It's not that easy. But if the more you can niche down in voiceover, just like any other business, like I'm in marketing, so we niche down to a very specific subset. for the freelancers, and I hate the term freelancer because as a freelancer, you should think of yourself as a business person, not a freelancer. I just don't like the
Mm,
name freelancer, whether
okay.
it's part-time business or full-time business, whatever you're doing. Don't think of yourself because a freelancer is kind of like down here. A business owner is right up here. Think of
Hmm.
yourself as a business owner and treat it as a business. You are in the business of getting business, right? So you need to market yourself somehow. So you can go out and do organic, and you're building a YouTube channel. Perfect. YouTube is huge now. YouTube
Hmm.
Shorts, right? You can do little shorts, right? Go around every day and just record something of what you're doing. Look, I'm recording a voiceover here, right? People love the behind the scenes stuff. If you can
Hmm.
be consistent with that, you will grow that audience, right?
Right.
Very much like you are.
So I'm hearing a couple of different things. You're talking about both things that you just talked about are forms of indirect marketing or passive marketing. Optimizing your website for search ranks for page ranking from Google, right? And then creating content like content on a YouTube channel. And thank you for mentioning how hard I've been working on my YouTube channel. I've been working
Yeah.
on it for about over a year now, and it's getting there, and creating content that will passively get people's attention. What's your experience with like actual direct or active marketing? So we're talking about things like cold calls, cold emails, follow up, warm emails, newsletters, things like that.
Yes, and this is definitely where the rubber hits the road. So you should be doing a combination of both. The more marketing you can do, the better. So when you establish your voiceover channel or all of your socials, right? I would say do that first because when people are going to go search you, right? And if you have content up there, you're going to be, oh, okay, this is this guy's legit or this gal is legit. So I would build that up first. At least have some content out there, and then you want to do your outreach, right? And so we do something called LAPS, and that is leads, appointments, pitches, and sales. So, how many of those can you do a day? And you are monitoring this. Remember, you are in business. You've got to track this, right? Don't have this written down, or you can do it on a Google sheet, but once you kind of advance a little bit, you really want to have this in your CRM and you want to move that down your pipeline, right? So, this is the opportunity. I've reached out to this person. I am targeting this specific niche. And once
Hmm.
again, the more niched down you can be, if you've got a medical background and you can do medical scripts, I suck at that stuff. I don't do that, right? I do like corporate is one of my signature sounds, and I did a lot of radio imaging and TV promo and that kind of stuff. Whatever it is, make sure you're creating content around that, and also make sure that you are getting a lead list and you are reaching out on a daily basis. If you can
Okay.
make, yes.
I was going to say, so build a website, optimize the website with good keywords, create the passive indirect content, have a there, build your client list in your CRM, which for those who don't know, that stands for Customer Relationship Manager, of which there are a ton of great CRMs out there, which I can add some links at the in the description of this. And once you get the content created, the website built, the lead list built, then you start the outreach. Is that right?
I would say you want to have some kind of foundation, right? So you kind of want to have that web presence, that online presence. And once again, if you're just getting started, it's not going to be that easy. You can do the pay to plays, et cetera, et cetera. But we really want to bank on you outreaching, right? So if you can, there's so many different ways of doing this. There is cold email. You can use a program called Instantly and really, bang it out and have multiple domains. That's like, sending anywhere from 500 to 1,000 cold emails a day. And that is really aggressive.
Mm.
I would suggest one thing that's worked well for me is to do Loom videos. And because people, in this day and age, they want to see you on camera. If you don't like being on camera, you shouldn't really be doing voiceover, right? Everyone wants to hide behind the mic. I made the transition last year of going to UGC. I do video content now, right? Video spokesperson stuff. I love it. I have so much fun with it. But I resisted that for many years. But
Hmm.
as you know, with the social these days, you kind of want to be out there, right? Just get comfortable being in front of your camera. Take your smartphone, iPhone, and just shoot stuff every single day, right? A lot of that for the first few weeks, you don't even have to post, but get comfortable being in front of the camera and start
Mm.
producing content, whatever you're doing, right? Hey, look, okay, I'm talking to a client, right? And these are all 60-second short reels. You can eventually do longs, like you're doing. But you want to have some kind of content out there to just establish that presence at the very least.
Cool. So I've got a story to tell you, and that's going to lead into a question. So I have recently joined the Freelancers Union, and here in New York City, they have regular events for members of the Freelancers Union. And just last week, I went to one not far from here at from my home in Manhattan, and they brought in somebody who does a lot of what you do: content creation, building systems for businesses and stuff. And she told us a story where she had done a small job for a client and it generated a $400 invoice, which is, a very small gig. And she was chasing this guy for months to pay this stupid little $400 invoice. And it got to the point that she didn't care about the money. It was more about the principle of this guy actually respecting her and the work that she did for him and paying up. Wouldn't return her phone calls or emails or anything. So she's at a networking event and she's, sharing this story with some friends. And one of them said, well, why don't you just have your accountant send the invoice and email? And she's like, I don't have an accountant. And her friend said, you don't need one. Just make up a name, use a new email address and email the guy. And she's like, that's dumb. There's no way that that would work. She sent the email. She got paid in 20 minutes.
See that? Awesome.
So she said to herself, what other fake people can I make up to help run my business? So as a result of using, I'm not 100% sure, but she was using things like Notion and Zapier and other combinations of software. And she built a virtual assistant that doesn't exist. She named her Lizzie. Lizzie does so much office and clerical and admin work for her that she's at the point that Lizzie generates invoices and then emails her for approval. And this lady replies to Lizzie in the email with an emoji because she set up this emoji code system. And if she sends a certain emoji that approves the invoice, Lizzie sends the invoice to the client. So I tell this story because one, it's just crazy. And I don't think a lot of this surprises you, which is why we're having this conversation. So with that crazy story in mind, talk to us about the power of automations and what you can do for even the smallest, smallest self-employed one person business to make their lives easier and make their businesses run better.
Yeah, 100%. Well, number one, you have to kind of make the decision. I always get paid up front. And so going into digital marketing, I found out that on these MRR, right, the monthly recurring revenue, this is a monthly ongoing gig, right? So I don't really do too many gigs. It's just a one-off. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's point number one. I would always say, like, I don't do any gigs unless I get paid up front. Right. I
Mm-hmm.
get paid before at least a 50% deposit. Now, I know some companies, they want to say 60-day net and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, you got to deal with that. Right. I totally understand that. But if you can have some kind of automation, it's called a workflow in your CRM. And so we've got an all-in-one in BizGrow where it just goes through. And what's the trigger? The trigger is here. They've reached out and they want a voiceover. And then it can go to the next step and the next step and wait one day and all this kind of stuff that you can do that you can set up. It's a little more complex, but it will automatically generate, so that you don't have to remember on your calendar, oh, I need to go reach out to this person or this person. Your story, man, I found that I don't want to go chase down, invoices and chasing down getting paid. And so many years ago, I just made the decision, all payments are up front. And at the very least, and this is because, I usually say, hey, we're brand new working together, at least a 50. I always say first, 100% up front. And if they say, can we do 50%? I'm saying, sure, no problem. Right. Because you want to be negotiable with the client, but you let your work speak for itself and then just put your rules down. And if it means you miss work, it means you miss work. That's my philosophy on it. But as far as the automation is concerned, my whole thing right now, I've kind of pivoted last year is HI and AI. And so a lot of voice actors are very kind of like, what's going to happen in the future? Yeah. I mean, the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be a very different marketplace out there. It's going to be a very different landscape. Everyone's going to pretty much have a personal AI assistant, much like your friend. I just think that's where everything's going. So the HI is the human interaction, and the AI is the artificial intelligence. And if you can, kind of bleed both of those together, because everyone wants to work with the human. So when we build out AI agents for businesses, voice agents and SMS agents, right? We always say this is your AI assistant. We don't pretend to be a person. Now you can do
Mhm.
that as well with some of this AI, right? But especially conversationally, it works. It works pretty well. The voice, it's getting there. I always say today is the worst day AI is going to be, right? It just keeps getting better and better.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to kind of blend, my voice in. I do a lot of video stuff now, so video spokesperson, webinars, etc., with the back end. So the content creation and the sales automation. And I think that if you can, have that customer journey go all along the way, and you have those skills that you can tack on to the end of that, that's just only going to help them, because we're in the business of solving problems. That's what an entrepreneur does, right? So this customer has a problem with, they have a creative that they have a message that they want to get off, that they want to get across there. But if they're doing a Facebook ad that you're voicing, maybe on the back end, well, how is that ad actually converting? We can boost the conversions by adding on a voice agent, to that. So this is just kind of where everything's going. Everyone's talking about AI, and, how can you be more human and beat AI? In the long run, you're not really going to beat AI, but people will hire humans, and they want to work with humans, right? We're humans after all. We want to have that interactivity. But
Yeah.
also at the same point, a lot of businesses are saying, well, I can save so much a year, by letting AI do it. I've had people that have, basically let me go. They went to go do AI, and they said, you know what, we're gonna come back to you, right? So that happens as well.
Oh, sure. That's happened to me many times as a voice actor, but that's also the reason why I've cloned my voice multiple times on different platforms, because I want to have as well-rounded a business model as possible, and deal with the reality that there are some companies that are going to go with AI no matter what, and that's fine. That's just the reality. That's just the reality of our business. There are freelancers, sorry to use the word, entrepreneurs and voice actors who are watching this video, and they're probably wondering what could they do to have AI help run their business, because I'm sure a lot of them are just having a little fun with Chat GPT. But I use Gemini, and I am asking Gemini voiceover and VO strategist related questions every single day.
Mhm.
Do you have a preferred chat bot, and how do you use them for yourself as a voice actor and to help run BizGrow?
Yeah, there's always new ones coming out. DeepSeek, is real big
Hmm.
right now. If you go to you.com and some other sites, you can actually have all of them, in one kind of like hub. So
Mm.
you can test them out. Some work better than others. Gemini is very good for certain things, and then Chat GPT, I would say at the very least, get a paid plan of Chat GPT. It's like $20 a month, and start training it for your business. And if you are just in voiceover, that's great. I've got multiple businesses, so it becomes a little more problematic. I solve different, issues along the way. But just in voiceover, you can write a whole business plan if you're starting out. You can say, hey, what's the best way to reach out to this particular niche? There's multiple things that you can do with that. And then you take that and then you distill that down again, right? And then you be more specific about this. You can write an entire, marketing platform. You can build a website. We're doing AI to build funnels. Um, Everything can be used with that. You just have to kind of accept the technology and learn about it, right? And as your skills improve on that, you can help your clients do that. So what I'm saying is, don't think of yourself as a freelancer or just as a voice person. Maybe you start learning this and you say, hey, I can also help you with this, right? Because the AI engineer is like the number one job right now. They're the highest paid job. So if you can learn prompting and all of this stuff, and I'm not like an AI wizard, I plug it into the background. I've got a team that helps out with all that. But just the very basics of it, it just continues to grow on a daily basis. So accept it. I remember a few years ago, everyone was anti-AI, anti-AI. And AI has been around for over 25, 30 years, right? It's just in the past year or two that it's really kind of taken off. And I think
Mhm.
2025 really is going to be the year. I mean, I've just seen it everywhere. And you have to embrace it and learn it, and spend an hour a day just learning what the models are out there. There's so much, go to YouTube University. There's so much information about that, about it and how you can apply it in your business. And I think in the long run, you kind of want an assistant, reaching out for you. You can build an entire lead list with AI. You can go out there and then have them start sending DMs on your behalf, and it looks like you, right? And some of this stuff, as you know, with SEO, some of this may be considered gray, or not, maybe even black, but do it as much as you can, right? It's against some of the social media algorithms to do some of this stuff, but at the same time, I would rather break it and try it out, because I love kind of experiencing technology and where it can take me.
Yeah. If there's one thing I've learned as a voice actor for almost 30 years is that technology is undefeated. It always wins. There's always something new coming along. And as voice actors, we need to learn to educate ourselves, grow, learn, adapt, and evolve, or we will be left behind. So, Jamie, tell us a little bit about how BizGrow works and how it could help some of our viewers.
Yeah, so BizGrow came out of I created a video widget. So when people come to your website, it's a little pop up, and it used to be called ClickBubble. We've now rebranded it to BizGrow.video, and it basically goes within the BizGrow platform. That was kind of the onset of this, right? So I plugged into that, and I just realized during COVID, hey, we can't meet in person. Why not have your face pop up in a little chat widget instead of just the chat, but your actual real person, right? So I would have clients record, hey, how you doing? I'm Jamie. Welcome. Click down below and then get whatever the free lead magnet is, right? Because you want to offer value to them. And it just built like the know, like, and trust. And we found conversions to be like 40%, because when most people go to a website, really about 95% of them bounce, which means they don't take an action. You have to have something, what we call above the fold, or somewhere on there, right when they come there in the first few seconds, for them to take action, right? You want to basically capture their email and maybe their phone number, right? And you want to book them on a call, for example, right? Hey, let's meet. 10-minute, you could do strategy calls, etc. How can we help you out? I want to meet you one-on-one. We'll see if we're a good fit, right? So that worked really well. And then I plugged into a larger, if you think of WordPress as the platform for building websites, this is like now a billion-dollar platform that I plugged into that many marketers are on. And now you can sell services, and it's a SaaS, right? So it's software as a service. I do SWAS, which is software with a service. So it's a combination of my services and then also basically an all-in-one CRM where, for example, if you want to do your marketing, you saw my LinkedIn little post that was out there. I've automated 30 days of AI generated posts within the platform on my social media scheduler. And that just goes out. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot I even put that out there, because it just kind of works in the background. So AI is actually building all of your socials for you. You can load it up, in say 2 hours, and it can go out for the next 30 days, and you can schedule it whenever you want, and it'll automatically, go ahead and post. We also have an all-in-one inbox. So for example, if you get messages on Instagram over here and LinkedIn and email and off your website, everything comes into an all-in-one inbox. So you don't have to go to all these different places. The CRM, you bring a prospect in and you have a prospecting list there. This is a lead. Now I'm going to build a workflow. And once they respond and they book, that automatically goes over there. Now they're in the booked calendar, right? Was it a no-show? Did they show? Did they close? So you can build out all of that in very simplified, workflows, which are automations, but it really helps you kind of, maintain your business so you can wake up in the morning and know exactly what is on your plate today. And you're not scrambling like, oh boy, I got to find a gig, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just an all encompassing, marketing and sales platform. And then we have services that we offer on top of that.
Fascinating. Jamie, this was great. You've got a lot of great stuff to offer everybody. There will be links in the description of this video for everybody to check out you and BizGrow's services. Jamie, it was great seeing you. Thank you very much for hanging out with us for a couple minutes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good luck to everyone. Just get out there, pound the pavement. Sales and marketing is what it's all about, and grow your business.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. And make sure you book that free 15-minute consult with me at vostrategist.com. Stay cool, stay safe, and happy voicing.